still stop. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, travelers and those alike. Welcome to this edition of the Orion Effect right here on the R.I.F.T Nation Network, or the RNN. I am the quintessential cosmic media hitman himself.
And I am Rhonda.
And we're here to lighten your life and encourage you to join us this evening. Tonight's show is brought to you by GOS, Ghosts of Stanton, Virginia. Depends on how you say it. It's actually pronounced as Stanton, but it's spelled Staunton. So we want to thank Marty and the crew there in Staunton, Virginia. Stanton, Virginia. I see that giggle. I do it all the time. I love it. It's kind of grease it up a little bit, Make sure it's said one way or the other so people don't get confused. I got a lot of coffee and I had some alcohol. And we also want to say thank you to our sponsor on the Mad Promotions, to Boo's Paranormal Equipment. The best price for the right person for the right time. I'm going to go out like that. And we also want to say thank you to our sponsor, SS Crystals, who has joined now. So thank you to all of our sponsors this evening. We have a wonderful show tonight. And I'm going to sit back for just a second and give it to Rhonda because I can't shut up.
All right. Hello to Lois and Shayla and Susan. Mama Susan has joined us. So thank you all for popping in. I can see we have more than that with us. So feel free to drop something in the chat so we know you're with us.
They'll catch up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll come out of the closet and go, hi. We're just hiding. We don't want to say anything. Well, come on out. Join the club. Get your drink on.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. And hello, travelers, from my end. Hello, and thank you for joining us tonight. Keith is in the house. Look, freaking awesome paranormal show. Look at that. Look, the vibe is stopping by to say hi. Hello, hello. So we have a really great show for you guys tonight. This is part 2, of course, of 2. I'm going to move something out of the way so I can be seen a little bit when we go all the way. We're going all the way. This is part 2 of Hill City Paranormal, and can't wait to bring them on in just a second here, having Sean and Cortney return. I can't wait to hear about their adventures last night, what they bring to us, and of course, our incredible conversations we have throughout all of our conversations. And trust me, I am not doing cocaine, heroin. I've had a little bit of coffee, a lot of coffee. It's one of those days, recovering from last night. So, before we get started, how was your weekend, Rhonda?
It was good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Went out to Peaceful Easy Healing yesterday and just hung out for a while. And then today was a quiet day. So it's been low maintenance kind of weekend.
I feel you. Been the same way there. Actually, I spent the evening, if you will, myself and my daughter spent the evening with 2 ASPS members over at Smith Mountain Lake and enjoying the day at the lake. And then the evening time, there's something new on the horizon, Rhonda.
Nice.
Yes. It's called Pirate Rum. Oh my God.
I mean, that just has to be good.
It is so good, you guys. There's a mid and a top grade. The mid grade's kind of a little bit lighter, and the top grade is black. And I can't wait to try the black because I had a little bit of Pertate and a little bit of the Pirate Rum last night. And it was, so good. There was no aftertaste. There was a good flow. You didn't have that pucker your lips and go down your gutlet burn. It was smooth. And it's a mid shelf. So,
nice. Yeah.
Then I created something that tasted like grenadine. And I was like, all right, that's it. I got to drive. So, So, hello to everybody that's tuning in. Oh, Laura's in the house. Hello. Ronnie Rickard said, I'm just here to see Sean. Well, and thanks for tuning in just to see Sean. We appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Rickard, and come back and see us again. And with that being said, yeah, right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we'd like to welcome you to this show, Hill City Paranormal Part 2 with Sean and Cortney.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Oh, Lord.
We're back to annoy everybody again.
There we go.
It has begun.
We missed you.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for the part when Howie said, I'm going to shut up and let Rhonda talk. And then Rhonda said like 2 words and then Howie just took over.
Yeah. And I love you too, Ron.
Hey, Lori.
It's true. It's true. Hello,
Shayla and Michael Brooks.
Hey, Sheila.
What's up, Shayla? Shout out Middletown.
Oh,
Ronnie and Shayla.
Love it.
Lorelli.
Lorelli.
Say Laura.
I don't know how to pronounce that name, but please forgive me, man.
Is it Lori Lee or Lorelai?
Laura Lee.
That's my
Laura Lee.
Yep.
I suck at pronouncing names. I'm sorry. I really am. I do need to get my eyes adjusted here, my eyes checked. But hello.
Hello.
Good to see ya.
We got some really cool stuff for y'all tonight to get your opinions on, your insights, your thoughts, some stuff that Cortney and Sean have captured. We're going to be bringing that to you while we do our most amazing paranormal talk tonight.
I emailed you 2 more links there, Howie. I don't know if you got them. Sean said they wouldn't go through, so I sent them to your email.
Probably not going to be able to get to them. I probably would not be able to get to them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will personally share my screen for those 2 because one of them features Rhonda.
Yeah, those are the best ones, but I couldn't get them through, so we can share them ourselves.
Cool. If you can do it, let's do it. Because I know those are some great videos. I'm glad you sent that.
Hey, Michael.
About it. Yes.
Mike, what's up? Shout out FPRI.
Yeah. Give the shouts up.
I'll be seeing you soon.
I probably won't be saying a whole lot. Keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, we'll be seeing everybody this Friday.
Yep, this Friday in Gettysburg. I think we'll see Rhonda too, right?
Yeah.
You going?
Rhonda, no, I'm not listening.
Don't you say it. Don't you say no. Don't. How do I get to this damn screen right here?
Is she done talking?
Kim and I are leaving.
She's talking.
Kim and I are leaving on Monday for Massachusetts. So
Well, good. Go to Gettysburg on the way.
But it would be hard for me to be in Gettysburg all weekend, then come back and pack and leave for a whole week to go to Salem and then go to Massachusetts Paracon. So
No, you just pack one big bag.
Hard, but not doable. I mean, come on.
Technically, you got to go north.
See?
this is true. I'm getting old though. I can't do all of that.
I'm so sad right now.
Whatever.
We can end this show
That
now.
just took all my positive energy out of me.
But we still get to see John, Michael, Shonda.
That's right.
I don't know who else is going.
I look forward to investigating with you again.
I think Cindra's going.
I'm pretty sure there will be other opportunities.
Look at Ronnie.
That's what they used to
Look,
say to
me
me in
not
high
going
school.
to Gettysburg gets me kicked out of the cool kids club.
That's what girls used to say to me in high school. There'd be other opportunities, Sean.
Hi, Ronnie. I know you only come for Sean, but hi, Ronnie. That sounded horrible. Let me.
Reword that, please.
Makes me wonder.
Good God.
I'm done. I'm leaving. Ron got me all messed
This
up.
podcast is getting crazy already. We ain't even started.
Rhonda got me all messed up. I'm upset.
Sorry.
I'm upset.
You got fans here.
Okay, let me reword it. Ronnie, I know you only pop into the podcast to see Sean's face.
Hey, brotherhood here.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you know. Oh, Tracy. Hello, Tracy.
I can't read Tracy's comment because there's like an RNN like logo over it, but
Wow.
I see where it says Rhonda and laundry in Gettysburg. And if she's going where I think she's going, Rhonda, you can do your laundry in Gettysburg.
Yep.
See?
Rhonda Harris back in a big bag, some laundry soap, and go to Gettysburg.
Rhonda, I will buy the laundry soap.
Yep.
y'all.
I think we're staying at like the Inn at Cemetery Hill or something.
I think so.
And I think they have laundry facilities.
I don't know.
Just saying.
I know. I hate it because I thought we were probably leaving on like Tuesday or Wednesday. When I found out we were leaving Monday, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come back from Gettysburg on Sunday and then have to go again. I don't know.
So that's cool, but can you guys like pick me up? I want to go to Salem.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to Salem for a couple of days and then we're heading on to Mass Paracon. So
I'm going to go to Salem with them.
Go ahead. I don't know what to say.
Ronnie, question for, what did he say?
For Cortney, I can't read.
And
the rest.
Sean, are you taking part in the reenactment at Middletown next month?
I think so, aren't we?
Is that Cedars Creek?
If that's Cedars Creek, then yes.
We are doing the Battle of Cedars Creek, yes.
I will be a soldier again.
nice.
I keep trying to let me go out on the battlefield in my hoop skirt with a rifle. So, you know, but something about being in a hoop skirt. Yes, Ronnie, we will be there.
Yes. As a matter of fact,
we're missing Friday night though because we have investigations every Friday in October. But
Friday night I won't be in
we're
there.
leaving.
Saturday I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to have been at one last weekend, but we had an investigation.
No, this weekend.
No, it was last. Yeah, this weekend.
Uh-huh.
There was one somewhere.
Sailor's Creek.
So yeah, and I couldn't make that one. But yeah, I will be at the next one.
Mm-hmm. So yes,
we'll be there with the bang bangs.
That's right.
Shoot, firing, burning some powder.
Nice.
Ronnie said what?
Shayla will be doing registration duty. He's a spectator.
Awesome.
Oh,
so we'll see y'all.
We'll see you. Yep.
So since we're on that subject, and let's pull that saddle and reins in real quick, and before we talk about this weekend, so there's a whole conversation going on that the rest of our viewers don't understand. So let's enlighten some of the people about what you really do and what Ronnie Record is actually speaking about and Shayla. So let's jump into that, guys. Who are you? Really?
We wear many hats. Okay. So going all the way back to 15 years ago, Sean is a Nashville recording artist. A lot of people don't know that, but he does have songs on the radio. He dropped his EP in 2016. Might be 2017. I might be wrong. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're getting ready. Actually, we had Michael Brooks from FPRI be featured in our latest music video. So I can't wait for you guys to see that.
That look he gives me in that video.
Yeah, he gives. When I got the video back and I got to see it, I was like, this is great. So that video will be dropped October 4th. But then fast forwarding all along in between all this and intermeshed, we've, always been like into paranormal investigating, right? So just recently, Sean's always, let me back it up several years. Sean's always been a history buff. So he's been into the Civil War, all that stuff. And he used to make jokes. He's like, I wish we could get into this. I wish we could get into this. And I'm like, I am not. This is crazy. So for those who don't know me, I was born and raised in California. So like we don't learn parts of history out there like you guys do out here. You know what I'm saying? So like while we were busy studying, the abandoned Alcatraz, which was like a frequent field trip for us as kids, like you guys were out here visiting Jamestown Settlement and like Appomattox Courthouse and things like that. So like we didn't learn about the Civil War out there. And I know that's crazy, but like it really is like that. So I want to say we were busy learning about like how to tell how old a redwood tree is by counting the rings on the inside and go into the Redwood National Forest. Like that shit they would teach us in school, like completely irrelevant to today's. I've never ever said, I wonder how old that redwood is. Like, let me go count the rings. I mean, I do look at trees. I do have a fascination with trees, but it's not something that like I feel I utilize in my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Although I do think that paranormal investigating Alcatraz would be like total bucket list for me.
Yes.
So fast forwarding forward, I started seeing all the really cool outfits that like the women of the Civil War would wear. And I've always been obsessed with like the Victorian era style dress for women. And I was like, all right, you know what? I want to get me a fancy dress. So we went to Gettysburg, and that was in the back of my mind. I didn't speak that out loud. We went to Gettysburg, and at Gettysburg Emporium, they allow you to like try on outfits. So this woman came out and she looked like she just stepped out of the 1800s. Like her outfit was so dope. I was like, that is awesome. And I remember looking at Sean and he was like, go ahead, you can get an outfit. So I was like, yay. So I got my very first outfit in Gettysburg, and we participated in Remembrance Day, and I was hooked ever since. So he came to me and asked me if I was ever interested in reenacting. Well, in my mind, I'm like thinking of actual Civil War, like July 4th, 100 degrees, sweating, miserable, dirty, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. Like, I don't do bugs. I don't like bugs. I have a theory. If anything can hop, fly, or jump faster and higher than me, no, I'm not. No. Mm-mm. So I was like, this is not going to work for me. So what does Sean do? Signs us up for a reenactment. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I get a chance to wear my outfit because I've only worn it once. So we get there, and it was an absolute blast. Like, is there that like nasty side to it where yes, you go a couple days without showering? Okay, but they make full body washcloths. There's water supply, biodegradable soap. There's things that you can do that, you know,
Whore bath.
right.
Yeah.
So, and we stocked up on gallons of
Oh,
water.
it's not a whore bath.
Right, exactly. So definitely participated in an entire weekend reenactment full of whore baths. And thank God that Sean bought a camping toilet, because where we were, the freaking porta potties were like 3/4 of a mile away from our encampment. And I'm like, 3 a.m., I am not walking. No, this is not going to happen. So that was like the only downside to it. But I mean, I found a new respect for peeing in a camping toilet in your tent. That was great. Like Sean, I remember Sean woke up and he was just like, Jesus Christ, you've been peeing forever. I was like, I held it for as long as I could.
The longest pee I've ever heard in my entire life.
It was so great.
Whole new subject
It
now.
was so great.
I started to pull out my pocket watch and I was like, you good? Like, you need to drink some water after this.
3
Like,
minutes and 33 seconds and counting.
I was going to call Guinness and be like, oh, check this out. This is ridiculous.
Y'all, from SpongeBob, 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yes, it really
That's
was
how
like
it
that.
was.
But it was
4
like,
minutes
it was
later.
one of those like soul like
I
moments.
woke up with my hands behind my head like anytime now. Like
I just remember I had to go and I looked out the tent
it put me back to sleep. It was like a creek flowing.
and I thought about it and I looked out the tent again and then I looked over and I'm like, okay, the flashlight's right there. My Crocs are right there. So in this particular reenactment, everything inside your tent did not have to be period correct, but the second you stepped out of your tent, you had to be period correct.
Right.
So it was like a mental battle with me. Like, okay, should I put on my hoop skirt to go all the way to the bathroom at 3 a.m.? That's stupid. Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yes, Tracy. That's one of my favorite movies, Revenge of the Nerds. I love that movie. I'm old school. Yes.
Cause it's like, you know, it's one of those things though, like your dignity kind of like, you gotta kind of weigh it. Like, you know, at this point, Sean and I have been together for 13 years. Like I have no problem peeing in front of Sean, like whatsoever.
Right.
So the fact it woke him up though was definitely, I haven't lived that one down.
Well, the fact that Sean is sitting there going like it was like a lullaby to sleep, or when you suddenly like turning on a faucet, and like, well, shit, I gotta go too.
Yeah, he did.
Right after that, I was like, well, might as well join the club here.
But I mean, all the like horror scenes like go through your head, right? So, first of all, he ordered this camping toilet, and the first thing I did was very carefully sit on it in the living room before we even went, because I'm like, okay, I need to know if this is sturdy. Okay, so I kind of bounced a little bit. All right, this is sturdy. We can do this. All right, but you're in like an A-frame tent, and like I'm thinking all the things are going through, and you could hear people like walking around. So I'm like, oh my God, somebody's going to hear
You
me.
hear a lot of snoring and farting.
Yes. So it really is like a big, giant, like teenage boy slumber party. Like, so there's kids running around, guys are farting, snoring. You hear people talking in their sleep. Hilarious. So, but the camaraderie, I think, is what got me to where I was like, this is awesome. So in the evening time, we were all sitting around campfire, just passing around like jars of moonshine. Like everybody brought like homemade moonshine.
We're going to call it water that was created by the fire.
Yeah, that's okay. Fire and water. So, but I mean, we were just laughing and carrying on. And then when we came down to Saturday, that's when the battle happened. And what we participated in was, it was a train takeover. So, and it was up in I'm blanking. Strasburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So the Confederates' job was to take over the train and stop it from going on with supplies with the Union soldiers.
Right.
So as a I guess camp wife, so to speak, or whatever, my job, I got turned into the camp babysitter. Which was actually kind of cool, because I had like this little 4-year-old girl that spoke like she was 14.
Oh wow.
And she was wearing a little Confederate jacket and was yelling, "Kill them Yankees" the whole time. So this was just comical to me. It was great. So, but we got to go and get on the train like as spectators and then like follow everybody to their battles on the train. And then once we got there, we got to get off the train and watch the battle. And there was a few times I was thinking to myself, like, why is it Sean dying? Everybody else is dying. Why is it Sean dying? Right? He's just standing there, like everybody around him's dead. So then I found out like that your I guess what is
Colonel, company commander.
Okay, so commander. He comes to you and actually like whispers, "All right, you got to go down." So they had to go to Sean and be like, "All right, bro, like everybody's going down. You got to go down."
WWE here. Don't reveal our secrets.
We lose our battles. So
we get shot. Okay.
Yeah. So Sean went down right in front of me, and like instinctually, I got mad at him because I was like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you on the ground? Get up!" But like, it was his time to die.
I took a hit, man, right to the chest.
So it was
58 caliber got me.
It was definitely a whole production. And if you've never had the opportunity to like go see a Civil War reenactment, I highly recommend it because even as a spectator, that's like so awesome to be up close and personal because you actually feel like you're there. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's weird to a lot of people. A lot of people might think that you just stand there and go, okay, there's two people like shooting at, or two units shooting at each other. But that's like not how it is.
Well, people don't realize we're shooting real rifles at each other. The same rifle that I used in the reenactment, I killed a 7-point buck with last year.
Oh, damn.
They're real rifles that we're shooting.
Tracy said, no wonder you had to pee a gallon moonshine. Yeah, see? But
they're real rifles.
But it is hot. It is dusty. I will say it was beautiful at night though, because there was like a breeze, like where our encampment was, there was a breeze that came through. Everybody cooks breakfast together. You kind of fend for yourself for lunch. And I think everybody brings something. And so that's what I like about it. Again, I'm going to reiterate the camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have that in day-to-day life.
Right.
You know, we how many times do we sit here, and I'm not trying to get like too deep, but how many times do we sit here and we're driving and we see that panhandler, keep looking straight, like we see him over here. But like, if you were to go to somebody at a Civil War encampment and tell somebody that you're hungry, you're going to have 6 meals in front of you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going hungry. Nobody's going thirsty. Nobody's going without. When we arrived, Sean and I had never set up an A-frame tent before. 5 people came out of the woodworks. Everybody helped us set up our tent. Do you need anything? Do you have anything? You know, if there's anything you need, my tent's over here. And it was just so nice to like escape reality.
And you would think that's something we can learn from, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what it sounded like on the battlefield.
There you go. What is
yeah.
There it is.
Oh, lots of guns and cannons going on.
Yeah.
I almost felt like I was 18 again back in the military.
Whoa. And for those that follow me on Facebook, I do have pictures. So not only was I the camp babysitter, they came to me and they found out I had like some photography background, and they were like, nobody's taken pictures of our unit in so many years.
Shout out to the Texas unit.
So I turned into the camp photographer too, which I had a blast doing because action shots are hard to get. Yeah. So like I've got so many pictures on there where you can see like the actual fire coming out of the gun and the smoke. And we met all the way down to, even though we were with the Confederacy, the Union was even nice. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
the Union nurse was giving us water.
Yeah.
When we were down and walking past. When I went down, she walked up to me and she was Union and she said, "Do you need any ice or water or anything?"
And they had these little kids there in the cutest little outfits that had these like baskets. Yeah. And they were going around to all the soldiers that were down, Confederate or Union, it did not matter, and asking them if they wanted candy, which I thought was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. They had these little like round, like the stuff you would get from your grandma's house, like the peppermints and the butterscotch disc. And so finally I asked him, I said, that's such a weird thing to give out. Like, why would you do that? And sugar. They said sugar helps people go throughout the day.
Sugar
and I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. But I mean, even at the end of the battle, like the Union.
But it's going to, Laura. Trust me, it's heading that way. So trust me.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer that in just a second.
Yeah, even all the way down to like the Union company commander came up to us multiple times, like each time, is everybody okay? You know, if you guys need anything, let me know. So it's not like, oh, you're Union, you're Confederate, we're not talking to you.
Shout out Colonel Fortune and Captain McPeak.
Yep.
Those two are great.
For sure. 24th Virginia Infantry.
There you go. So leading into this leads into how we can really get this bad boy started with the paranormal. So with your reenactments, with being involved, what kind of things have you experienced, and have you experienced while you have been in period time? And what about some of the tales that some of the people that you commune with doing this, have they come across any paranormal activity? Because we have one of our members on ASPS who is a reenactor here in Virginia, and he has stories. So I'm curious. Let's get into the paranormal.
So on the paranormal side, we haven't done enough. I did one when I was younger, when I was in ROTC, and I wasn't as into the paranormal as I am now. Then I was, but I wasn't like I am now.
Yeah.
Remembrance Day, where in Gettysburg, the whole entire town goes back to 1863. And you and I have talked about this on a podcast before. Paranormal activity is not always equipment going off. It's not always things letting you know they're there. It's also a feeling you get. And I talked about this also with Ronnie Anderson. When I walked into St. Albans, the same feeling I got when I walked into the other mental institution I went in for work. That same feeling I was able to get there. So when you go into Gettysburg during Remembrance Day, and we're all in uniform, the eeriness of it's almost like you're being watched and you're being followed and you see people out the corner of your eye that's not there. That experience is something I can't even really put into words right now.
That's when we heard the phantom cannon
That's
fire.
when we heard phantom cannon fire.
And you know what? I'm just going to interrupt you just 1 second because I want to use this as a moment. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Patton, but there's several moments throughout the movie that it is portrayed that Patton was there at that battlefield and he could recall it and he had that feeling and he goes, I was right there and this took place. And you hear that. You know, I think some of us have felt that being on the battlefields. I did at the Eternal Fire, standing with Bill Freeman. Both he and I were like, we weren't together. And I was like, nope, we weren't. It was opposing sides, but we were standing together right there on the top of the Eternal Fire, looking across the Calvary battlefield. So that's a true feeling. And it doesn't matter what kind of battle. It's like you can feel the energy.
Yeah.
You can. It's kind of like when you walk into the wheat field. All right. So we walked out to the middle of the wheat field and it was like we saw things with our own eyes and heard things with our ears that we didn't capture necessarily on film. But there were several times where when we were standing in the middle of the wheat field, I remember I was leaning up against a monument trying to get out of the sun because why? We were in the middle of a wheat field in 100-degree weather. I don't know. But I remember I jerked my head. Like I saw something coming out of the tree line and I looked at Sean. I'm like, do you see that? And he was squinting his eyes and he's like, somebody's standing there. And I was like, hold on. And I blinked and opened and it was gone. You know what I'm saying? But even just standing out there, I feel like whenever there's any kind of tragedy, death, destruction, anything like that, especially, the Battle of Gettysburg, you almost are able to put your mind back in time and feel or almost have empathy.
I can hear it.
So yeah. And Sean says that he actually can hear the battle going on.
Yeah, that's what we did.
That was a conversation that we actually had earlier where we said to each other, ever since we started really getting heavy into paranormal investigating, you know, and I'll tell you what the whole conversation is, so it makes sense. He said to me, we've made more meaningful connections in the paranormal world than we have in the real world, as far as friends go and things like that. So, you know, I said to Sean, I said, I really feel like it's because once we really got into paranormal investigating, we are able to heighten our sense of empathy and almost like awareness and things like that. And it makes us, and anybody who's a paranormal investigator knows that you develop an overwhelming sense of patience. Like you have to, you know what I'm saying? You're sitting in a room, you're just like for hours hoping that something communicates with you. And so if you were ever a non-patient person and you're like looking to get into the paranormal world, I promise you within 12 months, you are going to be the most patient person. You're going to recognize yourself. So I think that that's what, you know, what goes on when you're standing in battlefields and things like that is you've developed that sense of like empathy within. And so then at that point, the exact definition comes out. You're able to put yourself in their shoes.
And even going back to like the reenacting side, I speak heavy about Remembrance Day because that's the first time I experienced where a whole town shifts back 160 years. So we walked in the Farnsworth restaurant, and it's almost like the Union sits on one side, the Confederates sit over here, and I'm a Confederate reenactor. Let's leave politics out of it. I have my reasons, but I'm a Confederate reenactor, and we were all sitting together, and just the energy in the room was different. Like it was almost like whatever else was in that room with us was wondering why we were all in the same room, and they were watching and trying to figure out what was going on. I mean, and you're period correct. Reenactors, those of you who don't know about reenacting is very serious.
That is the only time that I've ever felt that judged in my life.
Yeah, when you're
I will be honest.
You're a reenactor, your uniform, the stitching on the uniform has to be as if it was stitched in 1860s. It has to be. You don't have any modern stuff. If your cell phone print is shown in your pocket, you have to remove it to your haversack or somewhere where it's not shown. If you have modern jewelry on, it has to be hidden. Like you have to look like a soldier. That is period correct. And those of you who are wondering, yes, there were Black Confederates in the War of Northern Aggression.
Okay. You know, oh no, let's not go down there. I could dive right into that right now because I could one hell of a rabbit hole, if you will. No, wait, let's just face facts. The truth be told, it was a Black Confederate unit that fired the first shots on the fort. This is proof fact, folks. So anyway, just supporting you there, Sean, and I'm going to pull back.
Yeah. So like a lot of people look at me weird when they see me in that jean wool outfit, but we were there. A lot of us were there. So you know, even when you watch the blue uniforms walk past me, they look at me like I'm crazy, and it's a different type of energy when you get in a reenactment. But there's a comment from Tracy that says Little Round Top and Devil's Den really mess with her.
Yeah, I was getting ready to
Devil's Den, I'm one of those people who look at people with the K2 and it's spiking. I kind of chuckle sometimes. But I was that guy with a K2 because on the battlefield of Gettysburg, when you're investigating, that's a fine. They consider that relic hunting. And so you could get a fine for doing that, depending on what equipment you have. And so I snuck the K2 in my pocket, and I have a cam that I wear on my head. So it's a camera that I put right here. It goes right on my eyes. And I went to Devil's Den, and I'll tell you, Devil's Den has no power lines, nothing. And you want to talk about something that was answering my K2 directly? I did it for fun, for, as Rhonda likes to say, shits and giggles. I did that, and you want to talk about direct answers pertaining to the war. I knew the right questions to ask while I was at Devil's Den. I knew the correct units that were there on the battlefield, and it was answering spike to red. Now, a lot of the professional paranormal investigators will say, "Well, that's not paranormal." But however, if the thing is,
just use the P word.
I
really just use the P word.
I went there.
How rude.
So, a lot of them will say it's not paranormal, but to me, it's just a coincidence that there's no power there.
Yeah.
There's no energy as far as anything to make it do that. And I know that there's other scientific explanations, possibly, but it stayed on green until I asked certain questions pertaining to the war. And I'm that guy who will ask, well, what's your favorite Big Mac from McDonald's? And it stayed green. But when I asked,
there's more than one Big Mac?
I asked, was the 10th Virginia here fighting alongside of you? And that thing got pissed off and go to red. That's, that's something to me. I don't know. I can't call it paranormal, but I can call it something weird that I can't explain.
Which I kind of want to touch on Tracy's comment here, because she said that she had no equipment when she went to Devil's Den. She just went on a visit. She was standing there. She heard a powerful hum, caused a blinding headache. Next thing she knew, she was standing in a battle watching the ground turn red. And I'm actually going to walk you into, because I know Sean sent you several videos. This is going to walk into you being able to share one of the videos before we run out of time.
We're not going to run out of time.
Being affected paranormally, being affected paranormally is a big thing that we're starting to experience. I've heard a lot of people tell me that they've felt emotional walking into places. I've heard a lot of people say that they've experienced things, almost like an out of body experience. Okay.
When you're done, I want to piggyback.
And on our investigation at Fairy Plantation, I got to actually see firsthand a team member be physically affected. And it affected me because obviously my mama bear came out. She's our youngest team member. She's my stepdaughter. And, I would take a flying bullet for that child. So to see her get affected the way that she did during that investigation, I at that point was completely, convinced that locations can affect people, especially empaths.
And this isn't some weak kid. This is a kid that doesn't get affected by stuff very easily. And she's an investigator that's very quiet, that doesn't say a whole lot, doesn't really talk a lot. But if you watch the tape, and Rhonda and Howie has both investigated, I believe Howie has, with Naya, she's not going to just act. She's, either she's going to be very quiet or she's not going to do much. She's not going to do much at all.
Well, I mean, you hear me say in the video, when she first told me that she was getting affected by the location, you hear me say, oh, and I just kind of went on about my business. Right. But then you hear me get very quiet because I turn my body cam and you can actually visibly see her face physically change.
Mm-hmm. You can even see the real tears.
I'm talking
when it gets close to him.
She went from laughing and joking about it because she didn't understand what was going on to an actual, if I was to draw a frowny face on a piece of paper, she had an actual frown and real alligator tears. Oh, so, wow. And I don't know which video it was that you sent.
Yeah, that's why I was looking through the videos going, where
is it?
Start that.
So you can kind of help Howie.
I had them labeled, so.
Yeah, they're not coming through as labeled.
So the first one with her right there, that's one of them. The first one right there.
Okay, so you want to bring this one up?
Right here. The first one right there where she's standing there.
Yeah.
See.
Okay, let me pause that and get that ready.
That's one of them I don't know if that's the first one when she gets affected.
So what's going on is they're upstairs at the Fairy Plantation in the kids' room. And that's when she started getting affected first. And the music box was constantly going off. And a lot of people will say, well, your music box is defective. That music box does not go off. Rhonda is a witness.
Yep.
When it goes off, it goes off. But we've been in locations where it's been dead silent and not done anything.
Okay.
So this is when we were setting up equipment, and I'll provide commentary since I was up there if I need to.
Okay.
And the music box, for the record, was faced away from us.
Right.
Away from y'all. I wasn't up there. I was on the other side of the house, completely in a different wing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Probably for sure. I don't know why it's kind of hesitating. Why is it on fast forward?
serious. I feel like I'll cry.
Why?
I don't know.
Is that how you sent it?
No.
Oh, don't cry. You're gonna make me cry.
It's fast forward or
Don't
something.
do that. Nanny, are you making Miss Naya feel sad right now? I don't know why it's fast forwarded like that. It didn't sound like that.
Okay, let me go back here. So it's fast forwarding here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back here and let's try it again.
Not
She's not happy.
Yeah, it's still in fast forward for some reason. But as you can see here, you can see her face like start to change.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll cry.
And she says, I feel like I'm going to cry.
I don't know. I do feel like I'll start crying.
Oh, no cry. You're going to cry. Let me see Howie really quick. Where are they at, Sean?
Go around.
Are you
Wow.
getting? Yeah, you took them off there.
I feel sad right now.
Project. We're gonna try to share.
Yeah,
from our
I'm
side
trying to pull it on my side and see why it's like that. Because
Well, I'm just playing in the videos and looking because you got this one here as well.
no, it's not fast forwarded here.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
I can actually share from my side.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up just so you guys are like, oh, I guess I could have left that up, huh? Hold on. We're tech slow, y'all. All right, so select a tab to share. Window. Okay. All right. Let me back it up. I'm happy.
She's not happy.
A cat ball for sure.
Look at her face.
So let me pause it right there so you guys can kind of see. Did you see that look she gave me? She looked at me like I was crazy when I asked her to put a cat ball down.
Yeah. So what's happening on my end? Was it going really fast?
Yeah.
Really? I'm seeing it perfectly fine on my end. That's
Yeah. So, okay.
Okay.
So my first indication to like pay attention to her, and it was to watch her face and like watch her. When prior to this, we were discussing what equipment we wanted to put out. And when I told her definitely a cat ball, she looked at me like I had 12 heads. And so that's what kind of perked me to go, okay, something's going on with Naya.
okay.
I'm serious. I feel like I want to cry.
Why?
No. I do this because
Oh, don't cry because you're going to make me cry.
Oh yeah, she was definitely.
Don't do that.
I'm curious though now.
Are you making Miss Naya feel sad right now?
I literally don't know why.
That is. That's interesting.
I feel so stupid.
It is what it is. Real feelings when paranormal investigating.
That's intriguing.
So-
I'll tell you why this is intriguing real quick, Courtney. I worked there with Ferry for at least a year. And I don't recall any reasoning why she would be experiencing something of crying.
Right.
Unless, and I have to go there, we're going to go there, unless she is being affected because perhaps a indigent servant child or something is affecting her based on, her color or her race. That is a possibility because
Right.
a lot of indigent servants were hung on the property. Other than that, I can't think of a reason why she'd be affected like that. That's intriguing to me.
So then going forward after that, is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me pull that one up. After that, share my screen here.
Oh wait, that might not be it.
Is this where she felt in trouble?
Yeah, but I shortened it though. Go back to the other one.
While
That's
they're
fine.
looking, folks, we just want to let you know, yes, it does say 8 or 7 to 8. But we all know and we all agree that this show is probably going to go over
35
than that, which is okay. And of course, Rhonda's playing double duty tonight. So we want to make sure you guys get all of this and we talk. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So this one, I'll just show you a brief. This is where she explains how she was feeling.
Okay.
Annie, are you upset?
So that was that there. So she said that she got the feeling that she was almost being scolded, like she was in trouble.
Okay.
And she repeated that multiple times. And so
we didn't hear it. Well, I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear anything.
Right. So
you couldn't hear that?
You didn't hear the audio on that?
No.
Oh, that's weird. So that's all she says is she goes, I don't know why I started crying. I feel like I'm in trouble.
I heard
and
that.
So the only thing that I could conclude after actually being there with her and witnessing that was they did explain to us that Nanny does get upset if you try to disturb the children at night and the children get out of their bed and want to interact, they get in trouble.
But go back to what I talked about just a second ago. Indigent servant children were not allowed on the second floor. So Nanny could have been scalding her for being up there.
Yeah.
That is a possibility. And there we go. See, Sean and I have had this conversation a lot. Skin color, race, where you're from, does it affect, and how does it affect areas? Here's a good possibility of what we're experiencing, that right there. Her being or feeling being scolded for being there, she was not allowed to supposed to be on that first floor. There's history talking for you folks right there in your face.
Right.
And see, a lot of places like the Ferry Plantation, they talked about how they treated their slaves good. And a lot of people will convince me about certain people in history that talk about how they were nice to their slaves and good to them. You don't know that. You know, people say that, but you don't know that.
Comparison to what?
Yeah, right.
Define nice and good to them. Does that mean they actually had a good place to sleep and some food, but they were still beaten? Like,
exactly. Stratford Hall, perfect example.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm not that guy that always complains and talks about how bad everything was, but I'm also that guy that also says you can't come to me and says just because a book told you that somebody was treated good, or just because there was a slave in the picture where he probably wouldn't have normally been. You know, of course, if I wanted a good image, I would say, hey, come over here and take this picture. Stand right here. You know,
even politicians just babies, right?
Exactly. It's the thing, we go back to the Civil War and we hear about Confederate troops and Union troops. We heard how Sherman came through and burned towns. We did not hear all the time on our end how some Confederate troops went through towns and they didn't do so good things either.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's that catch-22. Exactly.
Right.
So the other thing that, happened at Ferry Plantation that we didn't realize until we started reviewing evidence was a loss of time. So there's actually, and I'm not going to share the video because it's only one part where I say tonight, or I actually tag for the camera, note for camera purposes. We've been up here approximately 10 minutes and the music box has been constantly going off. When we put the evidence into the computer for review, we were actually up there for over 30 minutes before I said that.
Wow.
So then fast forwarding to the next video that I'm going to show you from the Ferry Plantation, after we left the kids' room, after we settled Nanny down and let her know that, hey, we're not here to harm the children, and the music box stopped going off and everything kind of got quiet, we moved on to the parlor room that I discussed the last time. And I had asked a spirit that we were communicating with to follow my sequence, and I did the dun 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 dun.
I love this. I
sent that one to you. Al.
Yeah, in hopes they would knock back. Okay, and we didn't hear a knock right away, and then the sequence came across, and I'll let you guys actually see it. Which one is it?
Turn up your computers. Turn up your phone. Listen to what you're about to hear.
Let me know if y'all can hear
Fucking
that.
amazing. And I dropped the F-bomb. Fucking amazing.
All right. So can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right. Volume's all the way up. Let me know if you can hear it.
Oh, now I've talked over you.
Okay.
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Can you finish this? Like to play jokes? Was my secret? Oh my God! Stop it! Get out! Do.
Play that again.
Oh,
So I'll play it one more time for you guys.
Yeah,
So
'cause
I actually go.
That's interesting.
now I've talked over you. Can you finish this? Like to play jokes? That was my secret. Oh my God!
I saw it, yeah, visually.
Visual and audio.
And of course, I had to provide my commentary. So, also, I noticed just now showing that video, there was actually massive K2 spikes on the piano across the room that I didn't see before. But the one thing that I wanted to say, going back to the loss of time, okay, is in this particular video, that's not how Naya and I remember that. That is not how we remember that going at all. I actually, when I popped it in, I could not wait for Sean to hear it. When we were investigating, and I know I sound crazy for saying this, when we were investigating, I said, can you finish this sequence? Knock, 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 knock. And the REM pod just went straight to the sequence. Okay, so I was so excited to show Sean this evidence, and I was just like, I swear, like it was almost instant. And we popped it in, and I'm like, where did 2 minutes and 22 seconds go? Like, where did that go? Like, that's not how that happened. So I picked up the phone and called Naya, and I was talking to her, and I was like, Naya, how do you remember this happening? And she was like, you asked it to finish the sequence.
Uh-oh.
We stared at it for maybe 5-6 seconds, and the REM remember me saying anything else in between? And she said, no, you didn't say anything else. The REM pod answered. I said, do you like to play jokes? Like, I don't even remember saying that. So, we started doing a little bit of research and kind of asking around to other people that have like experienced that. And I don't want to use the P word, but loss of track of time is actually a form of a possession in a paranormal location. So to watch the evidence back was fascinating to me, because most people think that being possessed, oh my God, the devil's in my head and I'm going to like go and like wring everybody's neck at the investigation. But instead, this entity took time away.
That's what I was saying. I don't think it's okay. Yes. All right. It is a form of possession when this takes place as a theory, but it's also dimensional. Okay. And it's also celestial. It's also energy based. It could be void. It could be time related. This is not the first time I've heard of this at Ferry or other locations, but to get what you got and then apply it and then me physically see it with experiences, I'm going, okay. Now, possession, I've heard that as part of possession, but I don't believe that is possession there. I think it's dimensional or translucent gate, just because of the experiences I've had there. And it's phenomenal because you got to add in your time loss of what you were feeling to now this whole video, something you don't even remember saying, which is also something that's known at Fairy Plantation to take place. Even voices coming up behind you and talking in your ear.
Right.
People don't hear it. And you're just like, wow.
But I also left in the, because she was wearing a body cam. And I know the first thing people are going to scold me on and say, somebody did that. Number one, I don't know how to make a REM pod do that.
How can they scald you? They weren't there.
So
This is true.
But you know how people are. So I left in the fact that she leaned forward so you could see how far that rim pot was away from her. And I also leaned forward for the one thing that we got scalded on was our reaction. The reaction between her and Nia, they were the only two in the room at the time. Again, was funny to me just to hear them get that excited, because we don't get excited very much during an investigation, even when we capture that known evidence. But to get that wow evidence and that evidence that you can't debunk, I don't know how to make a REM pod do that. Like,
did I not give you that wow?
But I don't know how to make them do the song. I don't know.
Well, I actually cut it early because we went on and on for another like 30 seconds. And like
another 30 seconds.
There was
another 10 minutes of them doing that.
There was a whole lot of bruh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like
when Sean sent that to me and I saw it for the first time, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's
I
just thought that was just so intelligent. Like
not only is it intelligent, but you got a trifold.
Yeah,
it's the mecca of all evidence that you can capture. And then I don't care how long any of you have been investigating out there, you know I'm telling the truth. You get equipment, you get communication, you get light, you get a fourth. What there is 4 there, that is the absolute. That is what you're looking for. And not many people get it. And that's why I give you guys credit. You captured something that not many people get to capture. Bam, there it is. Said it. I don't care what anybody says. Good luck. Try to do that. I think that's an incredible piece of evidence. Right.
It was just definitely just like a whole. I love investigations like that because that's what kind of keeps us going to the next location. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
it's
okay, if I got this, let's try different techniques and things like that. And then watching ourselves back on camera, it is definitely educational as well because, I sit here and I think, okay, like I thought me and Nia both thought we sounded so dumb when that went off. And like you hear Nia in the video where the music box is going off, she actually says, I don't know why I feel so stupid right now. And, I think it's very important to comfort our team members and let them know that, no, you shouldn't feel stupid for feeling that way.
Right.
That's a part of paranormal investigating, so did we feel stupid for our reaction? It was a whole lot of no way. Then you hear Nia go, get out, just get out. Like, this is crazy. And then a whole lot of bro, oh my God, like it was just, it was just a whole lot of that, which leads me to my favorite video that I want to show everybody of Miss Rhonda's reaction over here.
I apologize in advance. But I want to say, when you talk about the thing, I think if anytime you see people together, especially, luckily y'all weren't like filming yourselves, but like the last time we were in the minnow bucket, they had surveillance cameras in there. So they were filming, and I saw one of, John and I sitting at a table. And like when something happens and your first response is like,
oh my God. So they have CCTV. They have this all on camera because they had security cameras in there. And I remember saying to Cody afterwards, I was like, y'all are going to have a field day with this one. Because after that, we actually there was a few other things that happened that caused me and Nia to actually stand up and be like, oh my God, like, did that just happen? Like, it was totally, as I explained it to Sean, I was like, if they take that footage from that parlor room and make a YouTube video, like, it's going to go viral because we look like a Sam and Colby video, like over here, like we're just going, oh my God, whoa. And like, there was one incident where I was going to get batteries to change out in the music box because we realized that upstairs it went off so much that it killed the battery. Yeah. And so I had left Nia in the room, and there was like a chandelier candle holders in the parlor on top of the piano. Well, they were sitting like right here next to Nia's head. They clinked together and started shaking. And when I was coming around through the dining room, Nia met me in the doorway. We almost bumped into each other. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I am not. Normally I'm okay by myself, but no. She's like, you left me in there. Things are moving. I heard footsteps. I felt the ground. Then all of a sudden the chandeliers clinked together right next to my head. She's like, I'm hearing voices. You left me by myself. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah. So, but you know, going on to reactions, I'm going to go to the next video. This was
This was great.
This was at Belle Grove at Port Conway. Sean had purchased the dead bell.
Just got it.
And we didn't know. I'll admit it, or you've admitted it.
I've admitted it. I didn't know how to use it.
We didn't know how to use it. So let's bust it out on, an investigation.
Shout out to Rhonda Harris for teaching me how to use it.
So now, because of Rhonda, this is how we investigate with the bell. Let me know give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear it, okay?
Bill's sitting right there. You hear me say that's on camera.
So you hear the 3 dings right after, exactly again to her voice, ding, ding, ding. So that's what I wanted to kind of like elaborate on. So much like the "Can you finish the sequence?" Rhonda got the same exact reaction there. As far as with her voice, she asked for the ding, 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 and the bell said ding, 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 exactly to her sequence.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in a completely different room.
Yeah.
So to go to a step further, she then says, and let me share this one.
All right. Shits and giggles.
I don't know what that light was on.
You did ring the bell 4 times.
Bill's right here. Wait a minute. Who said? Oh,
Rhonda
who said that?
Rhonda.
That was you, Rhonda?
We got the disclaimer. Yeah.
Was that Rhonda or Shonda?
I think it was me.
Where's that? Hold on. Wait. Sean says I quit. So
I didn't want to investigate no more. I was just gonna let Rhonda do it. She got it to ring 3 times and turn around and got it to ring 4 times right after that. I was done. I didn't need to investigate anymore.
So
I just know when somebody's on the hot streak, keep going.
So the coolest part about that night, though, is right after that. Okay, John, Michael Brooks, Naya, and myself were all upstairs in the room to the left at the top of the stairs of the caretaker's house. Mm-hmm. And we weren't really getting a whole lot. Some like get out EVPs, things like that. But after the bell incident, it went quiet for them downstairs. And whoever it was decided that they were going to do that same pacing effect with the music box. And this went on forever. Like, I wanted to tell whoever it was to sit the heck down, because it was crazy. And then we were getting cat ball evidence and things like that. So it was almost like the energy went from downstairs and shifted upstairs, despite the fact that there was 2 different sets of investigators on 2 different floors. So that whole night to me at Belle Grove was just amazing, just all the way around.
It's something I want to bring up about this because this is intriguing. We go back to talking about races and, cultures, etc. When we were out there Halloween and Ron and I were asked to do a team. No, it wasn't Halloween. Was it New Year's?
No, we were out there for a mediumship
thing
that was up there, and they were going to do a tour after, and we stayed and helped John.
Yeah. We went out to the outside kitchen.
We were in the summer kitchen.
The summer kitchen. Now, for those who do not know, Sarah is mixed. She's black and white. We were standing inside. She was off to the back corner, and there was another colored lady inside. The colored lady became belligerent. She was quite nasty at the end, talking about how she wanted her money back and this, that, and the fifth, and was very nasty. Sarah actually had to leave the summer kitchen because once we were outside, she was telling me she felt like crying. She felt despair. She felt the anguish. Now, these are a whole bunch of women were with us, only a couple of guys. She was the only one to feel that. I found that very intriguing. Again, linking connection with emotion to energy. And I just wanted to share that because it's just intriguing to me.
Well,
Well,
see, and we were. Go ahead.
We find a lot of times in that summer kitchen, we get more evidence if it's just females in the kitchen than if there are males in there. A lot of times we will split the group. If we've got a mixed company, you know, we'll say men out for a while, you do some EVPs, and then men will go in and women will leave. And a lot of times women, we will get more when they leave.
Dee's asking, colored lady, what color was she?
You guys, that's Sean's mom. She's thinking. She was purple.
Purple pocket that.
So, but you know, it's funny because Rhonda, I don't know if you remember this at Belgrove, but
Dee's
there were several people that were attempting a dowsing rod session in the caretaker's house, and Nyla was the only one that got intelligent, crossed for yes, open for no, and we believed and came to the conclusion that she was communicating with maybe like a young.
No, there was a name. There was a name.
I can't remember.
Oh, man.
Was it
I got it on.
I want to explain something while y'all trying to figure this out. There's a YouTube issue, okay? And Mama D, this is why I said it the way I said it. Because we are no longer allowed to use certain terms, definitions, or statements, or we get in trouble with YouTube. So I have to be very careful what terminology I use. And I agree with you, though. I would have used the other word. And I think it's ridiculous. But I do have to stick to certain terms. I just want to clarify that.
She knows that. She's messing with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure
she does it on my podcast too.
But yeah, so we do believe that Naya was actually communicating with like a young former slave.
Yeah,
like a young teenage girl. And I mean, when I tell you, everybody, you know, that had dowsing rods was just not really getting a whole lot. But her rods, almost every question that was asked were opening and closing on command. And it was in that particular corner. She was standing over by the stairs.
Yeah, she was right at the bottom of the stairs. Like, you'd almost forget she was there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do agree that race can be a trigger at certain locations.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of locations. Sean said this, you know, on multiple podcasts where across the spirit box, the N-word will come across
all the time.
Stratford Hall in Westmoreland County, the birthplace of Robert E. Lee. In their slave quarters, the 3 or 4 of them that are outside, there's constant activity. And it's usually aimed at white people.
Oh.
This is true. I love that y'all brought that up.
Yeah.
I love that y'all brought that. Color goes back to since before. And I agree. And you're right, but it's why do we have to use that? But the fact is, you know, what's the N word?
I'm not entertaining you, Mom.
Toes.
Nope. Neanderthal.
Yeah.
That
Nightfall.
That happened.
You want to say it. You know you want to say it.
That happened at
Can't say it.
Or the cabin on the 360 though. In the basement, I got called the N-word a lot on the spirit. A lot.
Now, on the flip side to that, at the cemetery.
As a matter of fact, when I asked, "Do you want me to leave?" it said yes, and I asked why. It said because you're black.
Wow.
Clear as day.
Now, with that being said, at the cemetery, which both of you have had the pleasure of investigating, in the chapel, I have been called a harlot. And it was only when Sean and I were standing side by side up behind the podium. So, you know, a lot of things at certain locations will get triggered, you know, due to the interracial and due to the whole race thing. Especially like during Remembrance Day. So this year, during Remembrance weekends, we're actually helping Rainworth Lodge host their public investigations period correct.
Nice.
So there's a lot of there was slavery on that land as well. So I'm curious to see, although we do participate in Remembrance Day weekends, I think we hop on a public, or I don't think we hopped on a public.
No.
During Remembrance Day weekend.
But what I'm curious is that was a Confederate campground, Rainworth, and I'm a Confederate reenactor. So I'm wondering, walking around those grounds in a Confederate attire would bring.
Well, the crazy part is the slave that was there, he was a blacksmith, and the Confederates actually captured him.
I don't think he wasn't a slave.
And they kept him on the grounds to shoe their horses. And so when he found out what their plans were for him, he actually escaped and joined the Union troops and fought and survived and moved back to the property after the war was over and lived until he was in his 80s.
That's interesting.
So the history on that particular location, and I don't know, Sean corrected me. I feel like, was he just a blacksmith, or was he?
No,
I thought he was born into slavery.
No, he was a white guy, and he lived there. He actually died there.
Well,
I'm a history buff.
Wow.
I am. I'm a nerd. What do you want me to say?
So the point is, there's a lot of history, and I'm curious to see, during Remembrance weekends or whatever, how that transpires, being period correct in investigating.
Yeah.
I think we got two team members coming with us for that, and I'm gonna ask them to dress period correct.
They are. Yeah.
I think it's time for us to start carrying notebooks around to every investigation.
We do.
Yes.
And document everything, and every quarter, you take a tab and you tab it off once you're done with that. Go move on. That way you have a running journal and see what what is the same and what's different at every location. What do you try? What are you trying different? Are you getting the same results? This might be a great opportunity to just tell everybody, man, grab a notebook and start doing anything. I mean, we carry our notepads in our back pockets, and we should be jotting our notes down, but that's for that investigation.
Right.
What about the overall? Not everybody has a 3-ring binder and a backpack that you fold out and you start writing things.
And a lot of the times we do forget stuff, because if it's an intense investigation and you're concentrating, I'm not going to say, hold on, spirits, I don't want to contact you right this second. I need to whip out my notebook and make some notes here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So normally I'm pretty good at, remembering key parts of investigations. But Fairy Plantation had me stumped when I reviewed back and realized that I didn't even remember saying some of the stuff I said.
That's
So, but the one thing we learned from last night, I know we're running out of time. The one thing that we learned last night is energy is key, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Energy is key. If you have one person in your group with energy that's off, all right, so everybody saw the thunderstorm that went on last night. I mean, that was intense. I mean, lightning.
You can go to my Facebook page and actually look at my live. I actually am filming the storm over top of them from the other side of Smith Mountain. It is.
So, yes. Yeah. So the lightning was intense. The thunder was intense. It was pouring down rain, downpours, flooding, this, that, and the third. And I just knew. I knew that the activity was going to be ramped up last night. I knew it was.
It was.
It was literally a giant atmospheric Tesla coil dropped down on our investigation.
Yep.
So I start investigating, and my group, I'm not even going to say we got anything. We got nothing.
My group got a lot.
So, but we had what I feel, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I do vibe off of people pretty well. I did have one person in my group that, arms were folded all night. She, didn't say one word, over in the corner, kind of glaring, kind of judgmental. When I tried to get her to engaged. There wasn't any engagement. And so I cannot stress enough that, we have got to clear our minds of whatever's going on before we go into an investigation. I don't care if you're fighting with your husband, your kids pissed you off, you checked your bank account, you're negative $5. I don't care. We gonna deal with that after the investigation.
Yep. Or deal with it right before.
Right. I remember teachers telling me all the time, leave your drama at the door.
Leave your drama for your mama.
Leave your drama at the door. And that's it. And I still, well into adulthood, I still practice that as best as I can. I'm not perfect.
Do y'all remember what happened when we came down?
Yeah.
Y'all remember me handing that little piece of paper to everybody and then I stuck it on that branch?
Yep.
That's what you do. Write it down, leave it.
Yep.
Let it go. That's really a great something that I would tell any investigator or any group or paranormal team. Carry a notepad, carry a pen, get you a branch or a tree, put it right there where your home base, your location is. Let them write down their issues and hang it on that tree. That's where it stays till the end of this investigation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I just noticed, my group, we didn't get a ton of evidence, but we got the most intense Estes method I can say that I've witnessed myself. We had a few little things that I couldn't explain, but the Estes method was 3 different people tried it for the first time because they saw it on YouTube, and 3 different people got the same story. It was like one part of the story happened, and then it went to the next. It was like you're watching a movie almost.
Yeah.
And it was a story of a soldier at war, and even down to what unit he was with, where he was fighting at. I mean, it was just incredible to hear 3 people do that, and 3 of them were saying they were feeling touched. They were feeling something walking around them. One girl turned and gave me the dirtiest look ever because she thought I was walking beside her, and I was on the other end of the room. And so it was just an interesting session that happened. But my whole group was energetic all night. They were all asking questions, all actively investigating. Sometimes I have to step in and investigate with a public group. I just sat there the whole time. I might have asked a question or 2 just because I couldn't help myself. It was
you got the bug.
It was so much going on. I was just like, But,
well, see, and I just thought the whole night was going to be active because from the jump, obviously we show up several hours prior to set up and get everything set up. And when we just driving into the cemetery down to the conference center, we were seeing shadow figures dart. And that came from all 3 of us in the car. One person would be like, did you see that? And we're like, no. And then all of a sudden we would see it. And then when Naya and I were going up to unlock one of the buildings, the light switch, I couldn't find the light switch. So I walked in, and of course, we're smart. We don't bring flashlights in the dark, right? Who does that? So I'm like, I know this place like the back of my hand. Let me walk down here and, I'll just cut the lights on. So I had walked into the building to cut the lights on, and still didn't find the freaking light switch, which is beside the point. But so I just said, whatever, Sean can find it when he comes down here. And as I was coming out, Naya was swatting. And I was like, are you trying to beat me up? What are you doing? And she's like, oh my God. She's like, I swear to God to you. She's like, somebody your height was just standing right here and you weren't even right here. So, I just knew. We looked at each other and we were like, we rubbed our hands together. We were like, it's going to be a damn good night. Like, here we go.
Where was this again? Whereabouts? Where was this again?
We did a public last night at the cemetery.
No, I know that, but was this in the museum?
Room? The columbarium under the chapel.
Oh, y'all got down there.
Yeah, so we do have access to the columbarium now, and that was because it was raining. We were trying to pull more indoor locations as opposed to outdoor.
Yeah.
I didn't.
The chapel, there's I don't know how many people.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
A lot of ashes, and then there's 2 actual bodies, I believe, in the floor.
Okay.
So there is people buried under the chapel, but we just knew it was going to be a good night, and there was an invasion of the frogs last night. Everywhere I looked, there was a freaking frog.
I stepped on one by accident.
Oh my!
Was it literally, or
It was literally. It was awful.
Did it make a noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, purr.
It was like a high pitched noise.
Oh my God, you squished it.
TMI, bro. We didn't need to go there.
And Native Americans believe if you kill a frog, you're going to have bad luck for 7 years
I felt bad all day.
or something.
No, it hopped away though.
Mm-hmm. It hopped away to die.
No, it didn't.
He killed a frog.
Well,
y'all.
we can investigate it.
What are you going to get across the spirit box, Ribbit?
Yep.
Ah!
If we get that on the spirit box, we know we got something.
That's great.
Oh man.
That's great. Well, it's been a pleasure, y'all. Like, it really has.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna let that roll, and thank you all for coming for part 2. You know, just
Thanks
letting
for
us roll.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and hope to see y'all in Lynchburg soon.
Yeah.
You know, would have been.
We
but
need to head back out to Belle Grove too.
we
Yeah.
detoured this weekend, so we had some things going on, so couldn't make it out there. We did our
That's all right. There's always next time.
Always.
Every Friday in the month of October, we're doing Paranormal Fridays at the cemetery, 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. If anybody, is in the Lynchburg area or wants to participate, just shoot me a message and I'll be more than happy to send you the ticket link. They're going to be mini investigations. They're going to be fun.
So can we now finally talk about the location, or are we still kind of
Almost. We're this close.
So I can talk about Paranormal Fridays because the cemetery is actually the one who put up the link. So yes, you can talk about Paranormal Fridays.
I don't know all the rules.
So
Gary?
hey, Gary.
House.
Oh my God, Carrie said she's gonna die if we get a frog on recording. If you're gonna get a frog on recording, it's gonna be you. But yes, thank you guys so much for having us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank y'all, travelers and those alike who have new joining us, those that are current and those that just come and go. We thank you all so much for participating tonight on this magnificent hour and a half show. It's been wonderful.
Thanks,
As
Robert.
always, my family is in the house. We're doing our thing. And travelers, let's continue this. We're getting out of some solar storms. We're getting out of some emotional debt. Yeah, I said it. That was really well said. Emotional debt's being released. So let's continue doing this thing and just have a great week.
All right.
And where can we find Rhonda in about 30 minutes?
In about 30 minutes, I'm going to be on the freaking awesome paranormal show. We have a really cool guest. It's an author. His name is Daniel Friedman. He has written a book. He's done a bunch of research and about Arthur Conan Doyle, who was the author of the Sherlock Holmes series, I believe potentially being the actual Jack the Ripper.
Yes. I can't wait to hear that one.
That's
Yeah, me too.
intriguing. That really is intriguing.
It is. Jack the Ripper has always intrigued me.
And you know what? I almost bought his book to start reading this weekend, and I was like, nope, I'll read it after because I want to have I've never read it to have my questions.
Exactly.
So I'm excited.
So check out Rhonda and 30 minutes right there on the Vibe Network. Check out Sean and Cortney at Hill City Paranormal. Check us out throughout the week. We got good things coming out. We thank you so much, and may virtue always be.